How to use Scrum in construction scheduling. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about one of the coolest things that has literally changed my life when it comes to lean construction scheduling and every aspect of our business. I mean, we use Scrum everywhere. And one of the courses that really hooked me up with this was Felipe Engineer's Scrum.org course. He does a phenomenal job. I don't think I understood lean construction scheduling until I took that course. It was phenomenal. So if you in this video want to see the overall framework and some of the ways that it applies to construction, then you've come to the right place. So Scrum is, I don't think it's complicated, and it's actually explained in three very specific ways. First, there are three roles. Let me explain them right now. Number one, there's the product owner. I'm just going to put product owner. In that role, that individual is the voice of the customer, sets the vision for the product, and sets the priority. Now, Scrum is used quite a bit for software development and for product development, but it also works in construction. The bottom line is the product owner is the one that understands the voice of the customer. It's brilliant. Then the Scrum Master, so I'll just do this with SM. This is the person that leads the team and that is always facilitating with that team to improve their work. And then you have the developers or the team members. So I'll just put D for developers. These are the folks that have the experience. They're doing the work. They're actually making the product, developing the software, or actually building and enabling the field teams in construction. So those are the three key roles. The best way that I understand it is that if you have these folks doing work in a small team, the Scrum Master is building that team as a servant leader, and the product owner is the one that's always talking to the customer, that's setting the vision. And so that's the best way I know to explain it. Let me move on. There are 5 events that I want to talk about right now. Typically, and this is just how I visualize it in my mind, I typically visualize things in a timeline. So a sprint is a duration of time where you are going to really focus with that team on executing certain tasks. And in construction, I like the 1 week, 2 week, probably a 1 week sprint. So in a weekly work plan. So the sprint, let's say it was 1 week, this sprint is the duration of time that you are tracking. Okay, so that's the first one. And real quick, let me just say this. If you're looking at it from a calendar standpoint, like Monday through Friday, like I typically like to do, 6 to 6, there are a couple of events that happen within the week. Let me talk about those now. Number one, sprint planning. So the sprint planning can happen the week before, which I recommend, or the Monday of the week of. And this is where, and I'm going to give you the visual that we're going to look at here. There's something called a Scrum board, okay? And I'm going to give it to you simple. There's backlog, okay? There's sprint backlog, which is what you're going to do in that timeline, okay? Then there's in progress, and then there's complete, okay? So imagine that you have a bunch of stickies in your backlog. These are things that need to be done, right? When you do your sprint planning, you are going to move certain stickies over there that say, hey, our team, we think that we can get these tasks done in this amount of time. This is what we're doing. This is our focus. And all of these are ordered in the right priority, okay? And the purpose is, throughout the week, what you'll want to do is start moving these over to the in progress and complete column, making sure that you're working in one piece, one process flow here. And so this plans the entire what the team is going to do throughout the week. Now, every day you have a daily huddle, these little check-ins where the team in a fun and collaborative way will go ahead and look at the board. Let me go ahead and draw that and basically report on where they are and ask for help and say, hey, this is how we're trending. Now, there's another tool. It's the burn down chart, right? So let's say that, and I don't want to get too complex here, but let's say that each of these stickies, each of these tasks had a number according to the Fibonacci scale that described the level of effort for that activity. And let's say that everything and you can either do it for the backlog or for the sprint. Let's say that there was 100 points here, right? And so you would put on your chart day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you would put 100 points. So on day 1, if the team did 5, right? And they only did this much work. That's not in line with that burn down chart, and they know that they have to recover. So maybe on Tuesday they do a little bit better. Okay, maybe Wednesday they do a little bit better, Thursday, and then we're back to normal. This chart, this burn down chart, allows us to know if we're on schedule. So on a daily basis, if we're trending behind, we work on it as a team in a fun and collaborative way. The fourth is the sprint review. So at the end of the week, this is where you review how much product or how much of the work that you've accomplished in that week, and you basically track your capacity, whether you're on track to actually deliver the product, the team's performance, right? You really see, are we on track from a product standpoint? And then you go into the retrospective, which is, how did we do? Was that fun? How could we improve? What could we do better? So you're reviewing the product, and then you're having a retrospective on how well you're working as a team. So that's how the cycle goes. And I'll just go ahead and green say, hey, you're going to go ahead and plan your week. You're going to check in on a daily basis, and then you're going to review and make sure that you're on track with your product and that you're working well as a team. And so that's generally how the system works. So let me just go ahead and point this out to you. There's 3 roles. The product owner is the one who's the voice of the customer. Scrum Master knows Scrum and leads the team. The developers do the work. The events that happen, like I was talking about, it's the sprint itself, okay? So that's number 1. It's your sprint planning, which is number 2. Your daily huddle is right here is number 3. Your review meeting is number 4. Your retrospective is number 5, okay? And then the key artifacts are your backlog, your sprint backlog, and the time duration that you have here. And the 2 main tools that you'll interact with is, this is called a Scrum board, right? Really simple stuff. And the burn down chart right over here helps you to know that you're on schedule, okay? So this is what you'll see in the system. So you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, how do I use this? All right, so a couple things. When I am doing design, I like to use the Scrum framework. When I am installing an MRI, I like to use the Scrum framework because I'm wanting to get these activities done as fast as I can. And then another thing is, I covered this in the video that talked about meetings. If you have the typical meeting process, Monday through Friday, right? And you remember the team weekly tactical, strategic planning and procurement meeting, right? Then enables your trade partner weekly tactical, your afternoon foreman huddles, which educate your morning worker huddle. That's the standard system. I love when after that we bring in a team daily huddle every day any roadblocks that the field has to the project team. And so what will happen is we will know, typically this team has the capacity for so many points, whatever. And when there's roadblocks from the afternoon foreman huddle, from the morning worker huddle, I'll start to pull those in. And if it's not urgent, it might go in the backlog. But if it is urgent, it might go in your sprint backlog. And we'll analyze, are we going over our capacity by tracking the points? And this makes sure, this is actually the board that I would recommend. And this is your PM, your PEs, right? Maybe your super, your assistant super, your FE, right? You're all looking at this board, and the superintendent can say, hey, are these the key things that are needed to create flow in the field? Are they in the right order? Are we making progress on them fast enough? So at a minimum, I'm implementing Scrum at this meeting on the office side continually. This can be in a physical board or a virtual board, I don't care, but it's a great system. I recommend reading Scrum, the book Scrum, How to Do Twice the Work in Half the Amount of Time, and then Construction Scrum by Felipe Engineer. And so there is more to this. I'm going to put this into a Canva graphic in the description below. We'll also link you to Felipe's course, and if you ever need help with this, he can help you, or we provide this training and can get your team set up with it. We also have really cool boards that already have this process on it that will really help you out with all of your efforts. So please check out that description below and contact us. Ultimately, Scrum is an amazing system. Oh, by the way, we use it in all of our systems at Elevate and Lean Tact and Lean Built. We've got Scrum boards for our teams, for our meetings, for our efforts, for our individual work-life balance. We got Scrum everywhere. It's absolutely fantastic. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.